as always, if you do want to get yourself anything from the Chelsea mega store online this season, check the links in the description, check the QR code on the screen, and your discount code is GBFC10. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your Tuesday morning Chelsea news video. I hope you guys are all doing well. Make sure if you're not already, subscribe to GBFC. The season is underway. We had the 0-0 draw against Crystal Palace. Not the greatest start to the season, not the worst, but Chelsea go to West Ham on Friday, and there is still a ton of unfinished business here in the transfer window, whether it is players coming into Chelsea, players leaving Chelsea. We're going to go through all of the latest today. And let's begin with Fabrizio's latest update regarding Christopher Nkunku going to Bayern. Negotiations between Bayern and Chelsea will continue from tomorrow, as current status is still no agreement. That is today. Bayern insisting for initial loan. Chelsea only want a permanent transfer. Nkunku wants the move since January. Deal on, but no agreement done or close yet. This is also the update here. Simon Phillips tweeting from Fabrizio. No breakthrough in talks yesterday for Nkunku. Bayern are trying to be creative with the structure of the Nkunku deal. A loan with an option could become an obligation. Chelsea insist on a permanent transfer. Negotiations will continue today. This is getting to the point now where it is getting a little bit tight towards the end of this window. And as long as the clubs are looking at Chelsea and their desire to bring in Xavi Simons, Garnacho, everybody knows that those deals and Chelsea bringing those players in hinges on Nkunku and Jackson leaving. So the pressure eventually will be on Chelsea to actually start submitting bids for these players if they want to get them in. But we can't do that unless the players get sold. So of course, if Bayern Munich don't want to cough up in one go 40 million or 43 million quid or whatever it is that Chelsea have been asking for Christopher Nkunku, obviously right now Chelsea are just waiting. It's the same for Carney Chukwuemeka. We're asking for 40 million quid, but the best offer that we've had come in has been 15 million pounds from Borussia Dortmund. Are Chelsea actually going to get these prices for these players? As the window goes on, prices for players quite often drops. And we're at that point now where there's less than 2 weeks left of the window. We're into 13 days to go, and we are still struggling to offload these players. So let's go through the latest here with Xavi Simons, because that is what is hinging on Nkunku leaving Chelsea. Unless something unexpected happens, the current plan for Xavi Simons is for him to start for RB Leipzig against FC Bayern in the Bundesliga opener on Friday. After that, the move to Chelsea is set to be completed. The chances of the Chelsea transfer going through remain very high. Xavi only wants CFC. Personal terms are 100% agreed. RB still waiting for an official offer. So Xavi Simons is going to play for RB Leipzig against Bayern Munich, and then he's going to go. Like, what makes you think at this point that things are going to change? This is all going to be down to whether or not Chelsea actually get a bid that they consider to be acceptable for Christopher Nkunku. Now, an option to buy from Bayern Munich, obviously very different to that of an obligation, where Chelsea will be knowing that they have a guaranteed fee coming in for Christopher Nkunku next season. But with Xavi Simons, I hate this, you guys know it, but we're talking about it again, 85% chance that this deal gets done. There are other players and options that Chelsea might have of interest here. And this morning, the whole talk about Morgan Rogers to Chelsea isn't going away. And this is from Liam Toomey. Chelsea would also like to add an attacking midfielder to Maresca's squad. Informal talks continue with RB Leipzig regarding Xavi Simons, and Aston Villa star Morgan Rogers is highly rated by decision makers at Stamford Bridge. Then we've got to discuss Nicholas Jackson, because Matt Law has said this today. Aston Villa are the latest English club to be linked to Nicholas Jackson, although they face spending restrictions. Newcastle United have been linked with Jackson, while there is believed to be interest from Juventus and AC Milan. All summer, and I'm talking way back into June, we were talking, oh, Newcastle like Jackson, Aston Villa like Nicholas Jackson. This isn't like new stuff that's just coming up out of the blue. There could be a world here where if Chelsea are really struggling to get that right deal for the likes of Nkunku, potentially Chukwuemeka, then is there going to be a world where we can kind of negotiate some kind of swap deal, a PSR move again, one would say, potentially, with Chelsea and Aston Villa for Nicholas Jackson and Morgan Rogers coming the other way. I think everything's just been pointing so strongly towards Chelsea getting Xavi Simons that I think maybe now any deal for Morgan Rogers would be near impossible. And then obviously if you get Xavi Simons, there's no space in the Chelsea squad for Morgan Rogers. And as it's getting later and later in the window, I think we saw with that game against Crystal Palace that Chelsea will still need someone that can play out on the left wing. I don't know if Gittins is going to be able to hit the ground running. I think it's going to take him some time to get used to the Premier League. Obviously, there was great flashes in those opening friendlies that we saw from Gittins, but even the other day against Crystal Palace, he kind of went missing, didn't really offer very much at all. And I know that the whole Chelsea team looked a little bit sluggish, lethargic, I would say. But I still think in the final third, we're going to need some quality. Obviously, that was probably one of the weaker performances that we've seen from João Pedro, who started life brilliantly at Chelsea. Thought Delat looked good when he came on. It's going to be very difficult if they don't get these deals for Nkunku and Jackson to leave the club. I think it's going to be near impossible to reintegrate these guys back in. And I think this is where Chelsea have had to be careful. Because obviously Jackson signed a contract extension last year, which would see him stay at Chelsea until 2033. We've seen all of this is just the start stuff with Nicholas Jackson from the Chelsea accounts and all of that. But then obviously he didn't, from that point on, like last year, Jackson didn't explode. He didn't become that consistent, prolific striker that Chelsea were hoping he was going to be. So I think Xavi Simons would be that kind of player that would help knit the attack together. I think that would be very important for Chelsea. I think it's a very different option to what we saw from Gittins. I think even this week against West Ham, I would be considering starting Esteval Willian on the right wing, move Neto over to the left. So we get that link up with Palmer and Esteval a little bit. They can interchange. Esteval can move into the 10. Palmer can drift out wide where he's clearly so much more effective. So I think these deals for Chelsea are super important. But again, we have been talking about Xavi Simons for over a month. The season has now already began and there is still no official bid for Xavi Simons. But hopefully, Christopher Nkunku's move to Bayern Munich can be something that materialises. At this point in time, right, the player is just waiting. It's the same for Leipzig. They got the money that they wanted to get for Benjamin Seschko. So now they're basically just waiting for Xavi Simons to go. But again, and it's what we're seeing across the board this summer. Clubs have valuations on their players. He sacked at Newcastle. I think Newcastle are quite within their rights to be asking for 140, 150 million from Liverpool. Newcastle have also been struggling to get players through the door. But like what? Linked with Jackson, like Jackson. I think it's clear as day that Nicholas Jackson would be the right solution at Newcastle. So at this point, we're kind of waiting on lots of other clubs here. There's so many dominoes that are happening in this transfer window. But let's take a little look now more at Nicholas Jackson and Aston Villa. This is again from Florian Plettenberg. More on Nicholas Jackson and Aston Villa. Due to FFP reasons, it's currently not possible for Villa to pay a transfer fee over 60 million euro for the Jackson package. If anything, it would have to be a loan deal. What's clear and why Aston Villa are keeping a close eye on the situation until the deadline day is that Unai Emery is a big admirer of Jackson and is keen to bring in the 24-year-old versatile striker. I really hope that this doesn't get to a point in the window where Chelsea have left it too late. We don't get the deals done for Xavi Simons, might just end up with a Garnacho from Manchester United. And if we're sanctioning loans for Nicholas Jackson, surely we'd rather just keep him in the team. Like if we're not going to be getting the fees for them, then I think Nicholas Jackson should stay. I mean, Nicholas Jackson wanted to stay at Chelsea. Obviously now, when he's not even involved in the matchday squad for the opening game of the season, like I'm pretty sure every day, Jackson's going to be just realising that his time at Chelsea is done. So reintegrating these players would be very difficult to do. Let's move now away from all of these stories. Chelsea are on course to weigh up making a late attempt to recruit Bayer Leverkusen star Piero Hincapie. Now obviously we saw Hincapie play for Leverkusen in that pre-season friendly. Left-sided centre-back, solid footballer. And I think Chelsea, with Tosin being out injured, I think Achampong did well in that central centre-back position the other day, but do I think he's going to be able to perform in that position at the highest level all season? Chelsea didn't look bad defensively the other day, but again, I still think it could be worth bringing in another centre-half. I trust Achampong. I do trust the defenders that we've got, but the problem is I don't trust them staying fit. Wesley Fofana, I can't. I'm sorry, I've not seen him consistently playing and not getting injured for me not to believe that it's going to happen again. Tosin missed the first game, for goodness sake. We've already got 2 out of the 3 first-choice centre-backs not even available for game week number 1. So I do think Chelsea will be looking in the market, but again, Bayer Leverkusen will know that that could be something where Chelsea are looking a little bit desperate. The price could be very high in that case. But they're also working on a deal for Bade, who's a centre-back as well, so maybe that would open the door to Hincapie leaving. Let's finish then with this, because everything that we've spoken about today, this could be true if it actually all goes through. But at the moment, there's too many players here at Chelsea where we are not seeing anything concrete. Chelsea believe that they will have raised close to £300 million in player sales once the transfer window shuts, giving them a net spend of close to 0. This is via Matlaw. Now, Sterling, still nothing. Chilwell, still nothing. Disasi, still nothing. Vega, still nothing. Those are just 4. Chukwuemeka, Nkunku, Jackson, Tyreek George. There is too much that is still up in the air right now for Chelsea. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we can see something coming in. We're hearing like Renato Vega's wanted by 3 different English clubs. Disasi wanted by 2 different clubs. Like, is any of this actually true? Or are we just trying to stoke the fire a little bit to actually get clubs, because it's getting late in the window, to actually start coming in for players? My prediction here is that I think Xavi Simons will happen, because I do see Nkunku going. And at this point in time, hopefully, Bayern Munich are going to come in with a suitable offer for Chelsea. Chelsea have been very clear this summer. No, we're not just going to be loaning players, particularly to Bundesliga sides. You know, Chukwuemeka to Dortmund on a flipping loan. Just buy the bloke. We gave you 50 million quid for Jamie Gittins, for goodness sake. There's too much of this going around right now. But again, I don't think Chelsea are helped by the amount of stories that go out there regarding our interest in players, and how clear it's obviously been that the signings that we make are going to be due to the outgoings that we sanction. Nkunku, Jackson have to leave, Simons, Garnacho have to come in. I'm kind of tired of talking about it now in the summer. Obviously, it's the transfer news season. It's what we do. And if there is no updates, that is kind of the update. But I think Chelsea are going to have to move quick here, because as soon as Xavi Simons is back out there against Bayern Munich, particularly at the weekend, the longer this deal goes on, the less likely I think it is to happen, to be quite honest. But we're waiting for those dominoes to happen, Nkunku to leave, Simons to come in. I just hope that if it is Nkunku that goes, and we see that happen first, I hope that that doesn't then set the domino off to go for Garnacho. That should be Simons comes in because of Nkunku. So let's see what happens, but let me know your thoughts on all of the latest Chelsea updates in the comments down below. What do you actually think is going to happen here come the end of the window? Do you think we're going to have any players that we haven't been able to offload, or are Chelsea going to be bargained out here and we're going to see players leave on incredibly cheap deals? As always, if you do want to get yourself anything from the Chelsea mega store online this season, check the links in the description, check the QR code on the screen, and your discount code is GBFC10. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Come on, you Blues.